Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Um, my name is Gary Parker. I'm the Managing Director of CNT Associates, which is a business support, um, fundraising and digital services company based in Southeast London. This presentation is brought to you today by an association with the Royal Borough of Greenwich's Generative Business Support Programme and is funded by the UK government's UK Social Prosperity Fund. The topic for today is AI, artificial intelligence for beginners, and I'm going to be joined by two of my colleagues, Sybil Mayard, and I'll also be joined by Rodo from a company called Rocket Van. And they're both going to present on various aspects of AI and give you some hacks to help you get along and utilize it. So it's going to be an action packed hour. If you can move on to the next slide, please, Rodo. This is me. I've just explained a little bit about myself. That's our website address, or you're on our mailing list anyway. So uh, if you've got any queries, um, you can ask questions at the end, or you can contact us after today's presentation, and we'll get back to you. So, without further ado, I will hand over to my colleague Rodo. Over to you to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Gary. Hi, everyone. My name is Rodo. I am Head of Design and Innovation at Rocket Van. We are a design and studio, developing studio. So we delivering web and mobile applications supercharged by AI. We also consulting in design and development services for SMEs. So today we will have some real cases and we'll hands-on on a generative AI practical examples. So looking forward to it. I pass it to my colleague Sybil.
Thank you, Rodo. And I am Sybil Mayard. I'm the Digital Services Consultant at CNT. So my main service is web design for small businesses. And more recently, I've also been offering other related digital services such as CRM setup, email marketing, automation, analytics, and more, helping small businesses to make the most of technology using digital tools most efficiently to help them grow, cut costs, and save time. And since the beginning of doing this, I have worked with businesses from a variety of industry sectors, including creative, health and well-being, tech, consultancies, legal, and others. And if you can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So today's workshop outline is going to be an interesting one. We'll start with an introduction to AI. We'll discuss some everyday and potential uses of AI, agentic AI, generative AI landscape, and some Gen AI tools for small businesses. We'll have some demos. That's the exciting part. We'll talk about getting started with generative AI. We'll talk about AI awareness and ethical issues. There'll be some time for question and answers. And finally, we'll have our contact information on the screen for you to note down. And if you can go to the next slide. So, as I mentioned, we'll start with an introduction to AI, which is artificial intelligence. So we have a brief definition here. AI is the ability of a machine to display human-like capabilities such as reasoning, learning, planning, and creativity. Future applications are expected to bring about enormous changes, but AI is already present in our everyday lives. And we're going to look at some examples. If you can go to next slide. So here are some everyday and potential uses of AI. As you can see, AI is all around us, even if we're not always aware of it. So first on the list is online shopping and advertising. We have web search. So I'm sure you've been aware of AI overviews. So now when you search for something in Google, usually this AI answer pops up at the top before the regular search results. And there's also now an AI mode as well. There's chatbots, which are becoming very common, especially on e-commerce websites. There's digital personal assistants, machine translations, smart homes, cities and infrastructure, cars and other autonomous vehicles. You may have heard that the first driverless taxi might be appearing on our streets in London later on this year. Cybersecurity and also fighting disinformation, for example, fake news. So those are just a few examples. There's many others, and we're going to look at in today's webinar, we're looking more about how you can use AI tools within your own small business. And if you can go to next slide. So here I'm going to hand over to Rodo, who will be doing the main part of this presentation.
Thank you, Sybil. And I want to, before we start everything, it won't be a masterclass about AI, but I want you to understand that when we talking about AI, they have different layers. So, and AI is basically, as the definition that beautifully put it, Sybil earlier, is kind of the science of making machines smart enough to mimic human tasks. That's kind of the main one. But this is the container, the big umbrella that covers everything. We're not going to go through, I mean, we're not going to go in detail everyone, but every single technology within artificial intelligence, but we're just going to explain you a bit each one. So machine learning is kind of a subset on AI technology that we teach computers using data patterns. So we're not giving them a specific task like we would do with generative AI. It's just a training mode. Thing like machine learning is a student that it looks for instance, 1,000 emails and learn to differentiate what is spam and what is not. This is actually happening if you're using Gmail or Outlook. They're already using machine learning to that. Neural networks and deep learning is a specialized technology based in machine learning, but they're using kind of a layers of learning, like in spite of how our brain works. That's what the neural networks, and can handle complex data like images. Think like those two technologies is like a specialist. He is very good for recognizing faces or differentiating between a cat or a dog, for instance. And then when we get into generative AI, that's what we're going to talk more in this presentation. And is basically the new layer of the learning that is not only recognizing things, but it creates new ones. Think like generative AI is the creator. It uses everything that it learned from the past and uses for creating, for instance, a poem or a new picture. Within the generative AI, we have the LLM, that is large language models, and think that is the engine that powers text-based generative AI, like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, DeepSeek. And think like they are the specialized experts inside of generative AI that understand and generate new content based on our input. very simply, for just forget about machine learning, neural networks and everything, is AI is like a smart assistant that helps you to make decisions and automate tasks. And generative AI is the like creative partner that helps you to write, design, or brainstorm ideas. I mean, today we're gonna go through, but we're gonna focus again in Gen AI. But now recently the generative AI and AI is that's how we're using for small businesses, solo traders, and medium size and big companies. They start to use different ways generative AI. But what we're gonna teach today, I'm gonna see also some demos is around generative AI. I'm not going to go deep because that's not the purpose of this workshop. But I want to just explain you that generative AI is the the way we're using today and most commonly, and basically it's generative AI creates text or images, music, you name it. But this creativity doesn't come from nowhere. It needs an input from us. So before that, we need to do a question and ask, properly, and then this generative AI will use all the knowledge that has inside and generate an output or a result. Now, I'm sure you have been hearing about AI agents and so forth. So basically, they are using generative AI, but they are driven not by the input, but by a goal. So they go a bit farther than what a generative AI will do. It's like they helping you to automate actions. So for instance, they are good on following rules and instructions to perform a task, but they are a bit more autonomous. And they use tools to reach goals. Think like AI agents is like a junior assistant that would be, okay, book me a flight, for instance. That would be the goal. And everything else that will be created, I mean, the tasks they need to do to achieve this goal, they will be generated by them. So they will go do the research online, check what is the best price, and handle the booking for you. So again, you have a goal, and they're using the tools that you give them, the agent, using a generative AI to also understand what they're seeing, how they're booking for instance, that flight, and then you have a final output that it will be your flight booked. Agentic AI is a bit, the next step from agents. So basically, you have different agents. They act autonomously. They make decisions. They learn from experience, and they adapt and changing from the environments. Think like you have a project manager. You don't have a junior assistant. You have project manager, and they have assistants below them, and you give them an objective, not just a goal. It's okay. Launch a marketing campaign, for instance. So what you need, you will go through all the necessary tasks and create some projects inside and coordinating all the rest of the agents to design and execute the campaign. Again, we're just going to focus on Gen AI because it's a beginner's one, but I want you to understand that it goes beyond the generative AI demos that we're going to have today. Generative AI has lots of tools out there. Even this slide is a bit outdated in terms of the models, that because it's an industry that goes with amazing speed. Everything is new tools coming in, but you can see that you have already specific tools that will help you for different aspects of your business. So the more generics ones are the conversational ones. I believe that you've been chatting with the ChatGPT, Copilot, or Gemini, Claude. Also, you can design. You have Adobe Firefly or Canva, Beautiful.ai. You can also clone yourself and have someone presenting on videos for you that is you, but you can do that using AI avatars. You can create video, images, sound, also coding, and create your own agents and automating parts of the business, like customer service and so on. It's huge. But today I will go through a list of tools that we will be focusing and getting hands-on on this. But basically, for a small business or trader, what actually how we kind of use AI. The key areas are marketing, for instance, so you can personalize campaigns, whether it's email or social media campaigns, posts. You can create leaflets in minutes. So using Canvas, ChatGPT, those tools, for instance, you could do that very easily. Also, customer service is one of the areas that everyone is facing when you have a business. So you could get collection of all the questions that repeatedly your clients are asking you, and create either FAQ very quickly or even a chatbot to handle those if you have an online shopping, for instance, to those repetitive questions, or just have a FAQ on your website that answers those, and it will generate the right content and everything based on your website. In operations, you have repetitive tasks like invoicing, scheduling, calendar, managing inventory, creating spreadsheets from just a simple email with data or a document. Those things they can help you with this. And finally, sales. It can help you to supercharge your sales, analyzing customer data, or simply, think about strategy, create personas to target audience to understand how you're gonna you're gonna create your marketing campaigns based on those things. They are very powerful. The way we're communicating with generative AI is using a prompt. And a prompt is it needs to have a structure to get the maximum, the best answer, basically. Today, most of the LLMs, ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude, they are very good on guessing what you want, but you might need to iterate a few times to get a better result of what you want. So the best way to get the best, a good outcome is to use a prompt structure. A prompt structure is very simple. You need to define a role. So basically, you need to give them a role to the LLM. So for instance, act as a copywriter for my SME. Okay, so this will be start framing what you need and what is your intention and what is the result you're looking for. Second is having a task. So, okay, now you are a copywriter now, so you need to state clearly what it needs to be produced. So, for instance, it's like create a text for a promotional leaflet. That is one of the examples that we're going to go through. Third is you need a key details. So, okay, and I know that I'm, a copywriter. I need to do a promotional leaflet. Now, what is about? So you need to say, for instance, the event name, the date and time, what is offered, what the participants need to bring, who is invited, for instance. So the key details for this task. And then we need to tell them the tone, okay? Because when you write, you have the tone. It needs to be institutional, it needs to be warm, friendly, focused. So this is important as well, of the outcome of the text. And more is very important is the constraints, the no's, why I don't need, either why I don't want, or just adding some limits. For instance, keep it short, 300 words, 200 words, whatever it is, but you need to give them a constraint. With this, with this structure, the prompt structure, you will have more chances to have a better outcome and less iterations. I don't know, you've been also trying, but if you said, I want a flyer, so you can do different flyers or leaflets. If you give them all the role, task, key details, tone, and constraints, it will give you what, very close, or maybe what you're looking for, okay? So it's demo time. Let's get our hands dirty. So what I'm gonna do, it's stop sharing for a bit, and I'm gonna come back to this and I'm gonna share my screen again. Here we go. Can you see my screen? Yes. So one of the tools that I mentioned earlier, it's for instance it's called Fathom. You can use a lot of them. There's a transcription one. Most of you I've seen on the call, they're using it to record and transcribe. And they are very powerful because you can have a conversation online or offline. Some of them, they're allowing you to record things or just pushing any audio or video. And what they're doing is transcribing everything and getting some of the objectives. This is an example that I have. My client allowed me to share with you, but it was basically a presentation of one of the projects that we're looking to deploy in one of the in Cameroon in Africa, and it was held in French. So I kind of have understanding, but my colleagues they know, and we need to build, for instance, a system. So this will everything will be the notes that will be taken in French, but then if I want to translate it in English, it will be there. Okay, it's summarizing what it happened. So what is the the strategic opportunity, budget constraints, everything there, financial risk, next steps, everything is in there. You can export, you can share, or you can get all the transcript, everything that has been said, and getting into your documentation. And then in the future, for future reference, if you need to create a proposal, that is my case, I can go through and it's like, what it was the budget at the end, or what it was the timeline. So you have everything in there. So it's very powerful tool that helps you to do that. It's very simple. Some of them, they are free. Some of them, they are paid. It depends of the usage. But I, as a small business, I recommend you to do so. Okay, so we're gonna go to more practical things using different LLMs. This can be done with anyone, any of the any of those like Gemini or ChatGPT, DeepSeek. We're gonna create a leaflet, and as we said earlier, I'm using the prompt structure, and I need to ask the role. It's like act as a copywriter for a local community center. Then it's like the task. What is the what needs to be done? So I need a leaflet for Easter egg hunt. The details, the dates, what is happening, the tone, and then the constraints. So I simply gonna just copy this. You can use any of the LLMs. I'll use Gemini, but through Google AI Studio. But you can use any of those. They will be able to handle those kind of prompts. Okay, we have already an output, very quick, and you can have this. We give them, the task, everything. You can go and modify this, but in a nutshell, it's already there. Let's go back to this and let's use another tool, okay, to create the leaflet. Okay, so this one thing is the copy, and the other one is creating the actual design. To do this, I will use Canva. Canva is a design tool, but we also can create using AI. They have an AI tool for this. So similarly as Gemini, Gemini or ChatGPT, they have a prompt box, so you can chat with it. And if we're using again a prompt structure, it will get a better outcome. Usually, Gemini or ChatGPT, they can generate images, but you cannot edit. The beauty of Canva is like they are using layers, like you would be in Photoshop or in Illustrator, and you can modify some of the stuff. So I'll show you now. So I'm just asking using the prompt engineer. I will give me some ideas, and I can pick one of them and start modifying if I want to modify or suggest any change. So now it's generating some. Okay, we have landscape. I haven't set the format, so that's good. Is offering me different ones. Just gonna pick this one, and in here I can edit. As you can see, it's highlighting the parts that I can modify. Imagine that at the end it's not the fourth, it's on the fifth, so I can go and do this, okay, and changing this. I'm just gonna keep it on the fourth, okay, and that's it. I have my leaflet ready, and I can go and distribute it, print it, or post it on social media if I exporting it. I can do this, and I can download it, for instance. I'm gonna just download it, because now what we're gonna do is the opposite way. So we're gonna go and we're gonna use, imagine that you have already your flyer, and you're gonna ask AI, generative AI, to create a post, a social media post, for instance, okay? So to do that, I'm gonna go here and create another task. And what I'm gonna do is upload this flyer here. Gonna put some here. No, I don't know if it's did it go? Okay, lively. Let me check this if I can check on that. This, we're gonna go this way. And now, okay, I'm just gonna ask to again, we have a role. You're a social media manager. I have a leaflet already, so forget what we've done before. We're just gonna focus on what we have. Imagine the designer or the community center sent us this. It's like, okay, I need to post this on social media, and it needs to be in Facebook and Instagram. So both, as you might know, both social media platforms, they have different ways of communicating. So we need to make sure that this is also included in the outcome. So we have the role, we have the details, we have the tone that we're keeping the same, and also, yeah, the limitations or the constraints. I'm just gonna copy this prompt. Coming back to the LLM and adding the image. So basically, it will read the image and start understanding what it's about and creating those posts from which to then copy and paste. Here we go. Yeah, I have a blog post for my, let's say, my blog. I have also a Facebook post with the details, and also I have the Instagram post. So from an image, we have the text, and I can attach the same image for on the social media. Okay. Amazing. So this kind of the one of the workflows that we can use, and is every days, because almost everyone has a social media, and it can be more complex, but this is the base. And if you have any questions, we can have it then after the presentation. I'm happy to answer them. And one final tool I want you to discover is called Notebook LM. Okay, Notebook LM allows you to use AI, but with the collection of information that you want. So it's kind of for doing the research and beyond that. give you an example. This is one example that I have. Uh, I have a camper van, old school camper van, and I need to understand how it works, how to repair things, and so on and so forth. So I added several documentation. So I have basically the manual that I found. Again, is in French because this is a Peugeot, a Citroën Peugeot model. It's old school. It's from the 80s, 90s. So I found someone that he literally scanned the whole manual and I added in here. Okay. I have other resources. I found a guy in YouTube that he is also passionate about this, is having a lot of videos. So I added also this. So I created my own knowledge base in one side and using this tool called Notebook to discover new things. So I can ask anything like, for instance, I got some, you don't need a prompt. You could use, but here, because you have already the knowledge in there, you can put questions on all the documents that you have. Obviously, here's for for the sake of the understanding how it works, a van. But imagine that you have a piece of software that you want to know, or any knowledge. For instance, something related to accountancy or finance. You can put your own also YouTube videos, anything that explaining this subject, and then put questions on this. So my question is, I had to service my particular van. I giving them, the 2.5 turbo. That's the model I have, and I need to do the maintenance, which filters and belts I need to use. So what it will do, this tool, is going through all the knowledge that I put in on this place and analyzing, and then suggest me, an answer for my question, and also telling me where I can find this information through some key points that has identifying the data from. So one of them is from the obviously the manual, and air filter, um also the when doing it, where I found this information from, and you can go and double check. It's very, very powerful. Another thing that it does very well is, okay, I just want to understand, you can all the knowledge that is there and summarizing, so you can create a podcast from it. So it's very again, it's very powerful. So it gets all the information about this, and it creates a podcast. So here you have all the tools that the studio allows you to do. So you can create an audio preview. So it would be like a conversation between two persons explaining, more or less summarizing what is about all this knowledge. Is very powerful. Then we also have an infographic. So you can create an infographic from all your information out there. So no, this one is not. Oh, they have a problem. They're saying that they have a problem on this. Let me see if I can. So unfortunately, it's not showing. But I invite you to use Notebook LM. It's from Google, so you have a Gmail account you can access. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like if I have a detail. It's not recognized, but they have a problem. It's shown here on top. So basically you let me delete. Let me see if I can see this. Now I think. Wow. So I haven't done any design. I just asked to do infographic from the knowledge base that I there, and it's taking images, generating images, putting content out there. Very powerful. This I could use, if this was one of my job, I could just use this for social media or explaining, or when I'm going to see a client, it's like, okay, this is your current van, and this how it works, and what you need to think about it, well, the cooling system, everything. So and also for me to understand visually and the key points that those things they need to. So more or less there's a lot more, but I think for today it's enough. There are lots of tools. I'm happy to do in another session anytime soon, but I'm gonna just hand it back to Sibyl. Let me see, and yeah, but let me just get back, just summarizing what we said today. Yeah, don't get overwhelmed. There are lots of things. Maybe you start already using, but my advice is start small. Don't get ready, challenge the entire business and I'm gonna change everything. No, just pick one of the tasks that you think you can use AI to help you and automate or streamline this process. Make sure that you obviously you experiment free tools. There are lots of many of tools out there, just and they have a free trial, or you can use them free. Play around Canva or Fathom that the transcribing video and audio is very powerful. ChatGPT, they have free tiers, so make sure that you use it. Stay informed, so follow us on social media. I'm posting sometimes. There are lots of people in social media that they are explaining what it means, for small businesses and solopreneurs, how to use, how to, to use their podcasts, their blogs, the newsletters that they can do get informed because again, is an industry that it goes very, very fast. Even myself that I've been into edge and I'm talking and we're creating AI automated tools. The other day, things new tools are coming in and I wasn't even aware, and it's amazing. And also be ethical. Use use AI to interact with customers, but be transparent about it. I think it's a common sense. And also make sure that you don't expose any data, and privacy from your clients and customers is very important. This to keep data safe. My Gen AI challenge for this week, it's just pick one of the AI tool, give it a try. If you already had, ChatGPT, like you could simply using a ChatGPT like we've done today and Canva and to design a flyer. But if you already done that, pick another one to do another thing. So posting on social media or helping you with a banner that you want to put it outside or a poster, anything. So make sure, even a video, audio, anything that you think. So just a first step. Don't be overwhelmed or scared. Is the way going forward. Like we started using emails and people that were, you're still sending letters. I think even HMRC, they're thinking about not doing it. NHS, you have an option to not to receive any letter and everything goes through the app. So it's a change of how we work. And now think that is in a new way that we have a personal assistant that it will help us to do better our job. And I'll hand it to Sibyl now.
Thank you, Rodo. I'm not seeing your slides. I wasn't sure if you were
Oh,
still
okay.
sharing
I'm
or not.
not sharing. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. Apologize. This is my mic.
Thank
It,
you. Yeah, I can see it now.
mhm.
Thank you, Rodo. Very interesting presentation. And I was going to end with a few final notes about AI awareness and some ethical issues. So AI tools are wonderful. They help us speed up our tasks. We can do things in a matter of seconds rather than hours and days. But there are a few things we need to be aware of when we're using these tools. So here are a few things to remember. So first thing is accuracy and misinformation. So AI tools are not perfect. They do make mistakes. And so you need to cross-reference the information with other sources and verify the accuracy of important details. So this could be when you're doing some research, for instance, make sure that what the tool is giving you is actually the correct information. And also when you're generating things like blog posts, we saw images and posters being generated. There will sometimes be some spelling or grammar errors in there. Sometimes the text doesn't make sense. So you do need to really check these details properly before you publish or use them. Secondly is bias and ethical considerations. So as we mentioned earlier, the knowledge from these tools doesn't come from nowhere. AI models are trained on human created data, so we have to put the data into these tools. But this data we're feeding them with can include biases. For example, a few years ago, there was a story about a recruitment tool that Amazon was using, and it was actually biased towards favoring male candidates over females. So the tool had to be scrapped. So this sometimes becomes apparent again when you're doing some research. It might be biased towards a certain gender, for instance. So you've got to make sure you're checking these details properly. There's privacy and security risks. So never enter personal or sensitive data into an AI tool, and don't put any confidential company information into it. For example, financial information into a generative AI tool. Also, read the privacy notice to check where data is stored, because many of these tools are based outside of the UK. So the data you put into it may be even stored on a server which is not within the UK. So just be aware of that. Plagiarism and copyright issues. I think there was a question on this in the chat about copyright. So AI tools are trained on information it finds on the internet, and what you also put into it. And it can reproduce large portions of these texts or images when it's generating new content. So you need to, you can use plagiarism checkers to verify the originality of the content. For example, there's a tool called Copyscape, so you can put text into it and it will tell you whether any of that text has been copied from elsewhere. With images, it's a bit more difficult, but there are tools such as Google Images which you can use to also check for copyright images, copyright issues with images. And then we have data and training limitations, which links back to the first point on the slide as well. Some AI tools may only have access to information until a particular cutoff date, unless it's got access to the web where it can access some more up-to-date information. For example, I asked ChatGPT when is the cutoff date for its knowledge. It told me June 2024. So just be aware if you're using a tool that it might not be giving you the most up-to-date information. So again, verify that the information it's giving you is correct by looking at other sources as well. And then the last thing I put onto this slide here is that AI cannot replace human interaction and creativity. I believe that we should do a hybrid approach, which is using AI tools as well as still using our own creativity. So in using both together, I believe that AI should be used alongside humans and not as a replacement for them. And that's how we get the most benefit out of these AI tools. And if you can go to the next slide, please. So that concludes my part of the presentation and Rodo's. I'm going to hand over to Gary now, who will do the final slides. Thank you.
I can't see the slides.
Sorry, let me check. Not showing.
That's yeah, that's it. I can see that. No, sorry,
Can
so
you?
you need to go back.
No. Oh, apologize. It's tech guy having tech problems.
Not to worry. Uh,
Yeah.
the first thing is we're happy to take any questions from anyone. Yeah, there's our details. I should just say because quite a few people came in late that this presentation will be on our YouTube channel after it's been reviewed and edited within the next 2 weeks. So there's the link there. You should take down our details there. There's the YouTube channel. Information, and it may be on some other platforms as well, but it will definitely be on our YouTube channel, which has got 79 other presentations on it. So I'll just first, before we wrap up, I'll take questions. So there's some in the chat that I can see. Somebody's asking which blogs, newsletters do you recommend to follow, please?
Okay. The one is called Neuron. It's a blog and a newsletter. There's another one is called um, Pro Tools AI. So they're giving you what is new and everything. And there are lots of influencers out there that, on YouTube or in I'm following a few of them, but I can provide a list if you want to. You can share with them. But
Okay, and
basically, Pro Tools or Neuron is the newsletter that it gives you more or less what is going on in the AI space. Neuron maybe is a bit more advanced, but it gives you a bit of an understanding what is going on.
yeah, there's another question from Shirley. Are there free versions with Canva and the others? I am already using ChatGPT. Is there a UK tool version created and in use?
Mm, uh, Unfortunately, AI is divided between US-based companies and Chinese now. In terms of video production or chat, you can use DeepSeek. Again, it's free as well, but it's Chinese-based. So it means that your data, everything you type is going there. If it's privacy as civil well defined earlier, it's not a concern and you're not doing any data, you can use any of them, to be honest. But if it's concerning you and you want to know, then in the European more or less spectrum, following a bit the data protection and everything, all of them they're doing, obviously, but where it's going to store, the only one is called Mistral. Mistral is a French-based, and they're using the same. They have reasoning models that you can do the same thing that we done today. You don't have to go to Google or Gemini or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, have we got any other questions from people? Um, I've got a question actually for you, Rodo. If there's one takeaway from today that you could advocate to people, what would that be?
Just don't wait if you are not using them as the tools. Don't again, don't wait. Start using them. They're not gonna go away. It's the opposite. Just they're gonna be implemented more and more, and we need to get used to understand. You don't have to be a developer to do that, and yeah, and use them for anything that it helps you to understand the world and also the data that we're using every day or the knowledge. And yeah, and don't wait to use. Think that we are living in an era that we have a tool that it can explain how it works. And before that, we had a software everywhere, but you need to learn how to use it and know the purpose. But now we have an interface that you can ask straight away, whether using your voice or typing. So this is very powerful. Also, just always double check, triple check you know the results and everything. Don't assume everything is right. And just be inquisitive in that side and ask the experts, but particularly in terms of legal, medical, because again, generative AI is a probabilistic in design, right? It's a probabilistic tool. So it means that it will generate things randomly. They're getting better. Some of them, they have access to internet resources, Wikipedias and everything. But again, it's creating new content. So sometimes it won't be, 100% accurate, particularly on dates and everything. It has been in a case in the UK courts. A lawyer was using ChatGPT to summarize and do the defense, and the judge had to ban, and I think officially is banned for lawyers to use because some of the details and data was wrong. It was using different. So if it's, data sensitive and you need to make sure, always double check. It's good for ideation, for having a good structure, and it will give you, but obviously for a flyer that we done, you've seen everything is perfect. It doesn't match. I mean, it doesn't miss any details. It's simple. But when it comes to very complex documentation and research, make sure that you check the all the details and also the where the information comes from.
Yeah. Tracy, in connection with your question, if you can contact us offline, we'll discuss that with you, but hopefully we'll be able to sort something out for that. Um, got a question from Michelle. I need to create a promotional video. Can you recommend a free tool for this?
Okay. Videos, you have some of them. Kling, I think Kling. Can just
If you could put that in the chat, please,
yeah,
Rhoda.
Kling AI, I think is one of them. I'm not sure it's Sora from Chat OpenAI. They have a free tier. Um, yeah, and I think there is a very interesting tool that I didn't want to just get. It was a bit too much. That englobes everything that it's image and video. I think is in my image. Let me just search on this because I'm using sometimes. So basically, it's a platform that it adds um, all the models that is image related. So you can test them. They have, I think they have tokens, tokens. So I put it on the chat. I hope you can see. Imgeni.eu. Another founder, basically, but I'm a beta tester, but I think you can log in and have your own credits, and you have access to different tools in one place. So you can test Kling, Sora, Veo. Veo is from Google. It's very powerful too. It does sound, everything. They are free, but free doesn't mean you can do anything that you want. Maybe you are limited as well on generate. You can generate some of them, or a few seconds only. Depends how long is your video. But yeah, give it a try. This one, and you'll see all the tools that you can use with Gemini.
There's another question from Nick Rodo. Could you please recommend an LLM tool for helping to develop a business plan or proposal?
No, but I mean, this is very generic. So I think ChatGPT or Gemini, Claude, they are very good on that. Even DeepSeek you could use, the Chinese version. Make sure that you use the prompt structure and defining very well the details, that because if not, those tools, if you have a generic question, they will give you a generic answer. More precise you are, and more guidance you give them, and more context. So what we done before is prompt engineering, very basic, but this is what people they do, prompt engineering, so the structure and everything. But one thing is giving the context. Context is examples or something. So if you want to have this, make sure that you explain what you want, but also give them kind of a sense, an example where how you want the output, and then interact. Is an interactive. It's an interactive tool, so you can work together in a sense.
The other thing that I would suggest on that is that you download the business model canvas um, uh, template and partly complete that or complete that and then feed that into one of these tools, because you'll get a more accurate one. Business model canvas is the standard business planning tool now, which is very, very short. And that's the one that we use here at CNT for our clients, and we would recommend that one. So if you get business model canvas and then feed it in one of those tools that Rhoda's just mentioned.
Correct.
Can you please type the tools, please? I presume this means yeah, I'll put business model canvas in there, and then
okay, I think there's a question from Nathan.
Yeah, take that. Yeah.
How could one use agents to manage post-networking outreach workflows? You meet a lead at a network event. All you have is business card, brief description of the interaction. It needs to say the content details and Excel. Yeah, this you can do that. There are tools like N8N or Make that I'm gonna put it here. N8N and Make AI, I think is. That allows you to create those tools on your own. You don't need any coding, but you need to link, for instance, your Excel spreadsheet. You need to be able to create a place where you're gonna put all the pictures from the business cards and the notes, and then if you have this, you can automate the whole process, like contacting them or adding them in LinkedIn or whatever it is. And yeah, if you have a long list, you could manage this. Just dumping everything in a let's say in a Google Drive folder, all the images of the business cards, and then it will just automatically saying a catch up thing and sending I don't know, suggesting to meet afterwards or whatever is your endpoint. But you could definitely do that, yeah, without a single line of code, just prompting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got two more questions here. One from Tia. What do you recommend for creating a basic web page presence for a new business? I would just intercede on that and say, get a professional website designer to help you on that, like my colleague Sybil Mayard, for example. Just putting a plug for her, who is also a website designer. But Rhoda, have you got any other suggestions on that?
And there are different tools out there. Again, if it's a landing page, very simple. You can use, again, ChatGPT. They have their own coding. It's called Codex. Claude as well. They can code. Again, you can design. You can get like we done with the flyer, but then you need to transform in HTML, CSS, At least is the basic thing. And then you need to put it in a server. So there are other tools out there, they're doing this, but then you need to link and everything. So uh, to have a very simple one, you can use those tools, 100%. As a coding and that they will just posting in, they will be public. Obviously, I'm not using because we know, but I'm sure there are some. So you can also do a research on doing that.
Yeah. We've got some more questions now. We've got one from Janet. Uh, how can we protect our data in ChatGPT so it's not available to everyone? Does having a paid plan protect our data?
That's what they're saying. Um, but I'm not working for them. I don't have the access. No one has the access of the black box. So we don't know. My answer is I will, if it's very private, I suggest this more advanced thing maybe, but there are ways to work locally or privately on your with an LLM with your data. This is
Yeah.
possible to do that. You don't need a big machine. It depends what is your, ambitions and targets, but you can do that privately. So, or you can use there are some Google instances and Amazon that you can have your own version of ChatGPT, let's say, but from another model that will analyze your data and play with your data. And you don't have to give them. Usually they are saying, they're claiming, all of them, that your data is safe. But I cannot guarantee. I'm not, working for them. But always a pinch of salt. If it's very sensitive, make sure that you mask the, things that it will identify people. This obviously for GDPR is very important. Then IPs and everything is up to you.
Yeah. I
Mm.
think one of the things to stress as well that is if you're utilizing or managing any data, you need to be registered under UK law with the Information Commissioner. This includes written data as well. People often don't think it applies to that, but if you're handling any data, you've got to be registered with the Information Commissioner under the Data Protection Act, which will cost you about £40 a year. And there's lots of useful guidance on these issues on their website. But you need to be, like Rhoda said earlier, and I'm saying now, you need to be very careful in managing your data.
Yeah, correct.
Um, we've got Shirley's asking, will there be a full copy of the recording on the YouTube channel? Yes, it'll be there in 2 weeks' time. Sybil's just put up the links for that. Denise, your questions. Uh, we missed them.
I think maybe you've answered it already.
Okay.
I was asking about the recording, if it's when we'll be able to
Yeah,
get it, because the
the
first bit of
recordings. Yeah, it's going to be online within 2 weeks.
okay.
You've got my cast iron pledge on that.
Uh, I didn't
Uh,
just bit
okay,
of what I I just
okay,
needed to recap.
yeah, okay. We've got another question from Nick. Um, how can I provide logon credentials, e.g., ID and password, to my prompting without making the data disclosed? What would I need some kind of protected script?
I don't understand. You want to provide login details. Where to the chat? Don't do that. If it's, I can you specify more, Nick? If you can just unmute
Yeah,
yourself.
I'm confused by that as well, so we can't really answer that question because we're not sure
Yeah,
what it means.
well,
Um,
it's don't put any, particularly this. I don't know login details, uh, what it means in that case. But usually you don't need to add anything on a pricing
yeah,
database to. Oh, Yeah, but you can't give the LLM like this. Usually you give the access through API, and it's more complex. It's with some keys and everything. My advice is try to extract somehow, even if a screenshot or whatever. I don't know if you can export to Excel format or CSV this database, and just put the information in the LLM. But the LLM won't be able to, well, an agent will be able to do that. But there's a way to not reveal logging and this. They're working differently. Depends on the database. It's a bit
Yeah.
more advanced. This is not
Yeah.
beginner, but I'm happy to take this later on.
Okay. We've now gone beyond
Yeah,
12
and I need
o'clock.
to leave soon. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as I said, anybody's got any further questions, please email us. All our details are there on the screen. Um, and this will be on our YouTube channel within 2 weeks. So, Tracy, if you can contact us outside of this presentation, I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. This is the last in this particular series on this program that's supported by the Royal Borough of Greenwich. There will be further presentations in the future, but they will certainly be on different issues. They will probably return to this one. So if anybody's got any suggestions for webinars that you might be interested in, please let us know. And I'd like to finish by thanking our sponsors for today, the Royal Borough of Greenwich and the Government Shared Prosperity Fund. And I hope you've all got some value out of this presentation. It is new, it is the future. We're all learning, but it's never too late to learn. And I wish you every success in mastering these tools. And thank you very much for joining us today.